Welcome to the Fun Astrology Podcast for Friday, June the 3rd and Saturday, June the 4th, because really the two big things over these next 2 days are that Mercury stations to go direct today out of retrograde. That's at 4 a.m. this morning Eastern Time. That will have already happened by the time most of you hear this, but my goodness, you talk about these stations being amplified energy. I couldn't get anything technologically to work yesterday. It was like crazy. My radio client, we had email trouble. Then we had computer trouble. Then I had trouble logging on to a brokerage account. The market was trading like a maniac yesterday. And we know that when these planets come to station points from retrograde to direct or direct to retrograde, their energy gets amplified. So that means that absolutely all things Saturn and all things Saturn in Aquarius are amplified right now, and they will be through the weekend. Be sure to check our Discord group. We've got a conversation going on in there, Fun Astrology in Discord. And the other thing is the Old Soul, New Soul podcast. Robert and I are recording a fresh batch of new episodes today. Thank goodness it's today and wasn't earlier in the week, because they probably would have gotten erased or something. I don't know. But we're doing some new batches. Lizzie Grace's question about the midheaven and the equal house system is up today. And I don't know if we'll get into this with Robert. I kind of doubt we will. But we were looking at, in one of the practicum classes this week, about some of these ingresses, which is the other time that these planets light up. And we were looking specifically at when Saturn moves into Pisces. That's going to be next year. We've got 10 months now of that before that happens. Then we have Neptune eventually moving into Aries. We have Saturn then moving into Aries. All of this stuff is down the road. And then in 2024, in the later part of 2024, for the final time, Pluto moves into Aquarius from Capricorn. So all of these things are ahead of us, and none of this is imminent. But wow, it was some powerful energy that we were sitting there looking at ahead of us. And that wasn't even factoring in anything else, just the ingresses. So we weren't considering the retrogrades, the stations, the eclipses, etc. There is so much when you start to synthesize a chart, you start to really pick these things apart. There's just a tremendous amount of knowledge and information and wisdom that can be unlocked. And what I was seeing was really kind of jaw-dropping. We will probably get to that over on Old Soul, New Soul, but since it's so far down the line, it's probably not too relevant to today's conversations. We have more important things to talk about, in other words. So Mercury made it back 4 degrees in Taurus. It stations direct at 26 degrees 5 minutes. And then Saturn tomorrow turns retrograde at 25 degrees 15 minutes in Aquarius, if you want to mark those numbers. Now, we might as well get comfortable with Saturn in retrograde because it lasts all the way until October 23rd. And it will change decanates as well. It moves all the way back to 18 degrees. So it will be moving from later Aquarius back to mid-range Aquarius, where it starts to move forward again. And then that will take us into its ingress into Pisces next year. So this will be cleaning up everything Saturn in Aquarius for the next 29 years. And that hits an interesting chord, because not saying that I couldn't make the next Saturn in Aquarius ingress, but it will be getting more and more unlikely. And that's a pretty ominous thing to face, I don't want to dwell on that here, but it was just like, wow, it just hit me as I was saying that like, dude, you probably aren't going to be around. But, with all this new energy that we're moving into, who knows? Maybe lifespans will increase. All right, so what to look for? Well, obviously all the Mercury stuff will start straightening itself out. Give it a few days to do so. And then this whole Saturn thing in Aquarius is going to be very interesting, especially because Saturn has been approaching the United States moon. So we have a collective issue at hand, and we also have individual issues. And of course, that's nothing new. We always do, but they are amplified here with this Saturn retrograde. So what do we keep our eye on? Well, we've been under this looming threat, basically, of all these cyber attacks and various things affecting our technological infrastructure. That could be one thing. I'm always also intrigued by the dynamic between Aquarius's fierce struggle for independence, not struggle, demand for independence, and the authoritarian offset to that. So we could see that entire dynamic somewhat amplified. I think another thing that we could put with this is the nodal axis between Taurus and Scorpio. And let's factor in that Scorpio south node of the moon has in the past triggered things, and now we have Saturn moving backwards in a sign of independence and willingness to fight. Remember, the modern ruler of Aquarius is Uranus. Surprises, revelations, new insights, changes, etc. So it's going to be an interesting season. Absolutely will be. And keep in mind that Saturn now joins its Blues Brothers karmic planet Pluto in retrograde. So the karmic Blues Brothers are now both in retrograde as of Saturday. That means a lot of deep inner work for all of us. Tomorrow, Laura Taft and her wonderful course on the secondary progressions, and then Sunday I'll be talking about the lot of spirit and the nodes of the moon, particularly the north node. So we've got a full weekend ahead. Have a great Friday. See you back tomorrow with Laura.